Hey, what's going on? This is Greg with Sports Rehab Expert. Today I'm going to be coming at you with 3 tips that we want to talk about when we're discussing the push-up. So 3 form-based tips to help perfect your push-up. And be sure to stay tuned for tip number 3 because this is the one that most people often forget about. So with tip number 1, we're going to be talking about hand position. Biggest thing we want to see is the hands kind of right across the chest line, right nipple line, and about shoulder width apart there. And when we look at things from the backside view, what you'll see is that the elbows are kind of at a diagonal 45-degree point, and that's what we want to see when we're down at the bottom of the position of the push-up. When we lower ourselves to the ground, we want to think about kind of opening the chest up and retracting the shoulder blades, chest proud. But when we push through the push-up, we want to think about reaching long and kind of having the thorax or the scapulas move around the thorax as we push our sternum to the ceiling. So I'll run through a couple push-ups so you can see what I'm talking about here.
Alright, so we got a nice ass shot here, but what you'll see is that the elbows are out at a 45-degree angle, not flared out too wide and not too close into the body.
Alright, so the second tip is we want to be mindful of our torso positioning. So what we don't want to see is a big arch in the low back where the rib cage is kind of shooting forward and the butt's kind of sticking out, and there's this big arch in your low back. So what we want to do is reverse that. Think about kind of tucking the hips underneath so we feel our abs, and then when we reach, we're thinking about kind of retracting the rib cage, retracting your thorax so it sits a little bit better on your scapulas on the backhand side. So I'll show this through a push-up so you can see the difference between the two there as well.
So the first one here, you can see the shoulder blades not sitting flush on the thorax. The next one, you'll see and notice that the hips sag down, arched back. Hips are the first thing going towards the ground. And then the last one that you see commonly is someone just bobbing their head up and down with the push-up. What we want to see is a nice straight line running from the ear all the way to the heel, and it's almost like an elevator rising up and down where everything moves together and at once, just like an elevator moving up and down.
Alright, so the third and final tip, and this is the one that is often most forgot about, is we have to keep in mind that when we're doing a push-up, our hands are fixated on the ground and we're moving our torso about our fixated hands, which is a little bit different than a bench press where our body's on the bench and then we push through the arms and we move our arms about the bench. But if you think about the bench press, and I'll show you a video here too, when we come down in the bench press, we're bringing the bar down towards our chest, and then we're pushing the bar above our eyes or above our nose. So there's a little bit of this arch or angle movement that happens with the barbell. And again, you'll be able to see this better when I videotape it. But we want to think about the same thing in the push-up too, is if we have our hands right about at chin height and we go straight down, the bottom position is not very similar to a bench press where we'd have our hands right, or the bar right at our chest level. So we want to think about the same thing with a push-up to get our hands in the most advantageous position, to put our shoulders at a more advantageous position, to not dump forward and put a lot of pressure into the front side shoulder structures, to keep that nice retracted position at the bottom of a push-up. We need a slight forward movement to occur at our body so that our torso moves forward slightly, so that our hands end up at a nice position at the bottom so it's right in line with our chest.
Alright, so a good reference point here is the heels, how you can see the heels in the push-up moving forward and backwards throughout the push-up. That allows the torso to roll forward so that when you finish at the bottom of a push-up, you can notice that the hands are right at the chest level, and then you press up and back just as you would do with a bench press, where you can see with the bench press, you start with the barbell over top of the shoulders, the bar comes down towards the chest or the breastplate, and then it presses back up over top of the shoulders.
Alright, so there you have it. There's 3 tips for your push-ups to make sure the form, technique are optimal so that you keep yourself healthy in the gym. If you like this video, if you could do me a favor and do 3 things. If you could subscribe to this channel, that way you get notified of any more videos coming your way so you don't miss out on anything. Number 2, hit that like button so more people can view it. And 3, type in the comments below some questions or suggestions you have for future topics so I can bring more content coming your way.